Because I feel like my whole family are entrepreneurs, like my
Okay.
dad's side and my mom's side.
Okay.
It looks like Ed Sheeran. Like when you're an American and you go to anything, you expect a certain level of being entertained.
Okay.
American culture, American food, and American lifestyle. These are the most popular things that every one of us have heard about. But something that is not so popular is understanding American business. Even I was not really familiar about American business even after being there for a while. On this second episode of Unfiltered with Aman, I have a very special guest, Luis, who is from the US and who is also studying entrepreneurship and business. Luis is not only my good friend, but he also shares a lot of spotlight on how you can develop your skills in the domain of business. He and his family has been running several businesses for almost 3 generations now. So all the advice that he's going to give, you can surely take and apply it in your real life as well. In this podcast, we're not only putting light on business, but we're also putting light on some of the key highlights of the US and some of the key things that everyone wants to know. So make sure that you watch till the end and let's get started.
Okay, so yeah, my name's Luis. I come from the U.S. and so the reason I'm here is I'm studying abroad because this is my last semester of college. After this, I'm done with my bachelor's in entrepreneurship, and I'm really excited because then I start my job. And yeah, like the reason here is I've never been to Europe, and I've always wanted to see what Europe's about. So it's like my first time here ever. I've been traveling all over, and I think that was like my main goal. Have a really easy semester. First semester with no sports. No sports. I think that was huge.
I think is it the reason that you come here is because of sports, or you're not on sports?
Yeah.
Or you're you're here for sports as well.
No, not here for sports specifically.
Like our friend Connor and
No.
They were here for sports.
Yes.
Yeah. So but you're not.
No, I'm not. I'm here purely as a student this semester. Yeah. No athletics for me. Yeah, I love college athletics. I did it, but at the end of the day, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's a big time commitment, and at the end of the day, it's just like it almost feels like a job.
I agree. So you said you're studying entrepreneurship, right? So I mean, why did you feel like going into that direction and building that up?
So the reason I am into entrepreneurship is because I feel like my whole family are entrepreneurs, like my dad's side and my mom's side.
Okay.
My dad, for example, owns his own shop. He has a shop in Denver that's auto repair, but he does everything from auto repair, paint, everything in between. And it's usually about give or take, like it's nice because I get to see a business evolve. My mom, for example, she has her own salon, and it's right near the shop. My grandparents have a farm, and they also sell tacos in Mexico. On my mom's side, my aunt, she made her own accounting business, So I feel like with all that, inspired me to know that they did all this without knowing much about how to run a business. So imagine on top of them knowing what they already knew, they knew how to run a business.
Yeah.
And I think that's what inspired me is I want to help out my folks at first, and that's because I'm gonna become a consultant. That's what I got lined up for, and that's kind of the reason why I want to do it, because at the end of the day is so many people have marvelous ideas. Everybody has a really good idea, but not everybody knows how to run a business. And that's where I want to come in, where you could do what you want. You just need a little bit of help and the right nudge in the right directions.
Okay, I understand. So basically, you're getting a little bit of professionalism on the top. So even if you want to grow in that direction, because I think you definitely want to be in that direction. You just have a little more edge over
Exactly.
the top. Insane, man. Cool. So but how is it what was the most cultural shock that you got coming from the US to here?
Coming over here, there's a couple things. So let's start I guess with public transportation. In the U.S., man, we don't go on a bus or a train ever. I drive everywhere, and I'm used to I just kind of where I live, I kind of know what hours traffic is. So I'm if I need to get somewhere between the hours of 5 and 4, I need to leave with at least 15 minutes earlier than I intend.
Yeah.
So but here it's I just can't go out to my car and turn it on and go. I have to wait for the bus, then I have to get onto a train, and then the big part for me is I'm so used to getting everywhere, like just whenever I want, that like delays killed me at first.
Yeah.
And I would complain to people, and people are like, it's just part of it. And I'm like, how? That was a big part of it. Was just
are you frustrated with like the transportation system over here in Germany, or just like transportation everywhere?
In Germany, I guess specifically, just delays. Like, I just swear to God, there's never a train that comes on time. And if it does, it's a miracle. But especially the S1.
Yeah.
The S1's like, I have been in a couple bad situations due to the S1.
Yeah, I agree. For everyone who doesn't really know S1 is like the local train which takes us from our university to the city, and a couple of more places as well. But yeah, I agree, man. I agree. I think it's quite frustrating as well.
Yes. Yeah. Second of all, I think the way people interact. Okay. It's cool that we're in the international program, but like when you speak to an actual German, it's like really different from the way I would interact with like a person in the U.S. You know, like we're like big on small talk. Like for me, it's like it's not unusual to be like if I'm waiting somewhere and I see somebody next to me, just to turn to and be like, "Hey, how you doing? Good. How's the weather today? It's pretty nippy. Yeah, same. We have a good one. You too."
Yeah.
And that's that.
Yeah.
But here it's like you talk to somebody and they'll start talking to you, like really talking to you, which is fine. But like sometimes I'm just there for like the 30 seconds, you know, I'm just trying to like not make this awkward. And that was initially a little bit, and then like the Spanish kids are like all open, and then like the Italians are, but then like I feel like some of like the Turkish kids are a little bit more closed off, a little more reserved, and some like the Asian kids like too, like, but I think that's just a cultural thing, and that's the nice part, like dealing with that. And the party scene too. Yeah, you guys go out way too late. For me, it's like going out till like 5-6 a.m. for me is like you're having like probably a very late like crazy night in the United States. The U.S. is 3 or 4 a.m. like you're home. Yeah. But here it's like it's nuts. Like the other day I was in Barcelona. I was out till 9 a.m. and people were still out and about, and I was like, see, in the U.S. this doesn't happen.
Basically, you were at a party and the party was going until 9 a.m.
I went to a club and then I went to an after at a club and it was underneath a bridge. And I was like, what? But like, no. It was okay, but like staying up till 9 a.m. it was tough because like we got home and then we just like were chilling with the homies. But at the end of the day, it was like, this is something I would never do in the U.S. Like this is something that I'm like, 4 months into the program now? Yeah. It's just like getting used to that, like getting up and doing that, like because it just wasn't a thing in the US. So I think those are pretty much like the biggest culture shock moments for me. Like everything else has been pretty similar in a way.
I think you'll start laughing, you know, because in India it's like the entirely opposite, because the moment if you go to a party, I think it's like you have to be back home by 11 or 12 max.
What?
Yeah. So if I tell my parents, you know, I'm going to a party, first of all, I don't think so I'll go to a party in India usually. But if I am, then my parents will be like, okay, you know, max 11. So max means, you know, you have to be at home at 11. So it's like,
what?
Yeah, and it's just, I think it's not just me. A lot of people who are from India would agree to the same thing.
Okay.
Even it doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, you know, they'll be like, you know, you have to be back home by 11, max 11. So yeah, I think it's a little more restricted, but that's how it is.
No, damn. No, like that's the cool part about just being in different countries, just seeing different stuff. Like I've been traveling a lot, you know. I've been going kind of like all over and just seeing like how like the different cultures and like how like even like the clubbing scene and how people interact, food, it's different across every like country to country. Like when I was in the Netherlands, like I feel like it's a little bit more of like a Western culturism, and I think a part of it is due to tourism. I feel like that's been a big impact on it. But I feel like I was back at home, you know, like sitting in a bar, shooting the shit with people, like just talking. And then like I go to Hungary, and in Hungary it's like, because I was at Budapest, and it was like a completely different culture because I think people were a lot more open, a lot more friendly, a lot more like chatty up, you know, which is really nice. Maybe it's a touristic city. And then, but in comparison, like when I went to Poland, it was different.
Okay.
Because it was like not everybody is like opening up. Like you go up to a stranger, they look at you and look in the other like what are you doing? Like, like, and it isn't like compared to like in Barcelona. If I go up to a stranger, it's like hey, you know. Compared to like when I was in Poland, it was like, oh, are you talking to me? I'm like, yeah, I'm talking to you. Oh, yeah, I guess I could help you. Like,
Yeah, okay. Makes sense, man. But
That's good.
so, what are the things that you really miss from the US, which are not here? You know, something that you love is in the US but not here.
I guess one of the first things is probably skiing.
Uh-huh.
Man, there's like a lack of mountains here. If you want to go skiing, especially right here in Dortmund, it's expensive. Like, I'm gonna go towards the end of the year, but like even then, is back home. It's like I could go skiing like every weekend. That's one thing I really miss, especially during this time period. Is like you can go and go and go and go, and like that's like one big thing I miss. And then the food, like. Okay, I love Germany, and I've been to places that have had good food, but like specifically in Dortmund, all there is doner, pizza, and pasta.
I agree.
And like, don't get me wrong, there's a reason why those foods are really prevalent because they're good. But
I think I need to stop you for that because I have this one thing that I want to ask you.
Yeah.
It's a very typical thing, and it's a very stereotypical thing, I would say, that American people is like baseball, apple pie, and essentially like hot dogs. Is it like a thing, or is like
okay.
Do you fall into that category, or do you don't?
Depends. Like, so like in the U.S., like they do call baseball America's pastime, America's favorite pastime. I've been to baseball games. Like, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But when I go to baseball games, they're like, I'm not necessarily there to see baseball. I'm there to like have a couple of drinks with my friends, or like to talk. And like it's fun. Like it really is fun. And it is true. Like when you go to a baseball game, you go get your hot dog, you have your beer in hand, like you're like having a time. But I think it depends on where you live. Like because that's a big impact about American culture is. Like, I went to 2 different states. I lived in 2 different states while my time in the U.S. And I went to school in Wyoming.
Okay.
But I came from Denver, Colorado. Denver, Colorado is a very liberal super city, like big city.
Yeah.
And then going to Laramie, Wyoming, a very conservative 30,000 person town, small town. There's different pastimes, Like over there, it's like going to football games is huge because that's like the thing to do, going to sporting events. Going out to the bars is like a big thing, but like not like clubs, but bars, and for example, like going out and doing like nature stuff, like was a big thing, and that might be super American for there. Compared to the city, it's a completely different interest because you don't have accessibility to nature, right? But you're much more of like going to see museums. You're gonna go out to more restaurants, much more of a social, like kind of like what people idealize is like city life as American life. The sporting events, but you go to like the professional games. You don't go to just the college games.
But I think that's a very good comparison, to be honest, now that I feel about it, because even at the place where I stay in Sweden, it's like a very small town with a very small number of people, and they have the same approach to things. If they want to chill out, if they want to relax, they would go and watch a match, or go out in the mountains. But if you go to Stockholm, which is like the main city, people have very different approaches. They would rather just go to museum. So I think that's a very, very good comparison, comparing different places, depending on number of people who are there.
Yeah,
true.
Because every state has its own culture. Like that's the beauty of the U.S. It's like it's like a big continent with many countries in between it.
And there's another cultural thing which is there, which I've heard about the US, is like there's a lot of pickup trucks culture over there. Like a lot of people have pickup trucks, and it's like a thing that you should have one as well.
Like a pickup trucks. Oh my gosh. Depends, but yes, like it is something.
Do you own a pickup truck?
I don't want a pickup truck. It's just there's a stigma to it, Like, okay, well, like I don't know. I guess like we'll get into it just because it's funny. See, like it's just like when you drive a pickup truck, depends what kind of pickup truck you have. If you have a stock, what I mean by stock is like you bought it from the dealership, you didn't do anything crazy to it, you didn't lift it up, you didn't put crazy tires, you didn't do crazy. People respect that. You're just driving a truck, but like it just depends who you are, it kind of really shows it, because like I feel like when people see like trucks that are super lifted up and stuff, usually the guy driving it is like like a douche, like I'm better than you, or like like I'm an alpha male, I'm the toughest guy here, and I think there's a stigma with it, but like It is a lot more popular. Like, that is one thing I do like about being here in Europe is that you're not seeing a diesel truck blowing black smoke out there and they're cranking it. Like, that's what I do. I do see the reason for trucks, but like every state has a stereotype. Like my state, if you drive a Subaru or a 4Runner, it's like a classic Coloradan thing. Like if you live in Colorado, chances are like you probably have one of those two cars. The reason why they're amazing cars, but yes, it is super stereotypical, especially in Outback. Like yeah, like if you drive an Outback or Toyota 4Runner, it's like super Coloradan. Like, and I think like it just varies from place to place. Like if you're or Jeep's big in Colorado. But like in California, it's like you see Californians with their Jeeps, or you see a lot of
Teslas and all. If I'm not mistaken. Mostly Teslas in California. Yeah. Okay. So every state has its own stereotypical thing.
If you're in the Midwest, you're gonna drive a truck. If you're more of like if you're like in Florida, you're probably gonna drive like some junker, some weird. But if you're more of the East Coast, you're probably gonna drive like a sedan or something. But like I think by area, it's like. And it depends like the type of person you are, because I think stereotypes, depending what they are, it's like they come from a certain truth, And I think like, because like you see enough people do it of a certain like demographic, you're gonna be like like a Visco girl or like. So yeah, like if you see a Visco girl drives a Jeep, has a hydro flask, wears Lululemons, Uggs,
I have no idea what you're talking about, but
Yeah, see, like this is something super American. Like these are like Lululemon are like these leggings, like this like brand of leggings that all girls use. Uggs are like these like boots, like leather boots that like everybody use. Super popular like middle school, I remember, but like. Yeah, and then like a hydro flask is like this water bottle. It's like a really. I even have a hydro flask like that. Yeah, it's a really good water bottle though. Like you can't. It's probably one of the best ones you ever buy. But like it's like a classic like Visco girl, and she has like a Polaroid camera taking like cause she lives in the moment.
But I mean. I don't know much about Florida, but I've heard that Florida has some of the extreme traits of an American culture as well. Because before actually moving to Sweden, I actually got admitted into UCF, University of Central Florida, and I was thinking about it, but I didn't really actually go. But I really wanted to know about Florida, from someone who's actually from US.
Florida's fun, man. Like. I think definitely Florida has a certain type of like reputation because it's a little raunchy. It's a little like it's a little scum, like not scumbaggy, but like I would say it's like a little like little wild. I'd say. I think the reason why there's actually a really fun fact behind this is that Florida lets you access all their jail records. Because then you can see how people got arrested. And so that's why you see the craziest titles like woman stabs husband with a squirrel, type of beat. Because you have access to those files. It happens all over the US, but since it's like open to the public in Florida builds its reputation as being like this crazy place. Because you could actually find out about what goes on. But Florida as a whole, it's like a big party kind of like scene, I feel like. Because like you have Orlando, first of all, which is like a Disney World and Universal Studios. That's a big money maker. People from all over the world ever heard about these places. And people want to go. So like you have all that, about tourism. Then you have like Fort Lauderdale, which is like a really nice city to go spend like your like nice like beaches and stuff. And then you have Miami. And then you have and the thing about Miami is like when you're known as a party city, like Vegas, for example, or Miami, you are gonna see crazy things happen. Like you are gonna see some out of pocket stuff. Like my family goes to Miami a fairly decent amount, and we went. The most recent time we went recently was for 4th of July.
Yeah, of course.
Is it this past not this past, but the one before? And I remember we were like all sitting there, and just having dinner on the Ocean Drive, right next to the beach. And then we see this homeless dude just start humping the ground, bro. And like right in front of my whole family. Does not care. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like and then like you see people just get like super drunk. And it's 4th of July weekend too, so it's just like it's not a small little celebratory holiday. It's like a big weekend bash. So I think that's why you see some of the craziest stuff is because it just has like the incentive for it to happen. And then Like, it's just Florida.
Makes sense, man, makes sense. Yeah, but yeah, I think that's. But I mean, being there as a tourist, you know,
It's
I think
fun.
It's fun.
It's fun. I wouldn't want to live there. It's fun.
Yeah,
It's
I mean-
it's extremely fun. Like you could see the gist of those places. Like there's a reason why I go multiple times because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like, well, if you could dive deeper into this, is because American culture at the end of the day, it's entertainment. like when you're an American and you go to anything, you expect a certain level of being entertained.
Okay.
Like in anything too. Like in every single aspect, like you even look at the commercials we have,
Yeah.
they're like super elaborate, over the top, like super quick and stuff because they want to keep you engaged.
Mm-hmm.
You go to a sporting event, they're gonna have cheerleaders, they're gonna have a halftime show, they're gonna have like this whole like procedure because they want to make it an event entertaining, a big deal. And so like
So so it's part of the culture. Isn't
it is.
Yeah.
It's like everything has to be in a way a show.
Yeah. Okay.
Like there has to be a certain shock or entertainment factor to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how we Americans are at the end of the day, I feel like, is when I go to something, and it's really funny, though, if I take out my phone, me and Graham talked about the different types of fun. We actually categorize it, and I'm going to see what you think of this.
Okay.
So Graham is my best friend from the United States who I'm here studying abroad with. And Aman knows Graham.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
He's a fun guy. Yeah.
It looks like Ed Sheeran. Okay. Types of fun. So, we define fun as achieving positive satisfaction from an activity. So, achieving a positive satisfaction from an activity is fun. And you were satisfied with whatever you did, that was fun. Now, we have different types of fun. We have the primary fun and then secondary fun.
Okay.
Primary fun in our case was defined as like you're the one doing the activity and getting satisfaction from it. So active fun is like having satisfaction doing the activity in the moment. So like playing a board game, playing a sport, or playing a competition. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's active fun because
Yeah.
you're in the moment and you're just kind of going at it.
Yeah.
And then there's associative fun, aka secondhand fun.
Okay.
Okay? And this is having fun, having satisfaction through somebody else's experience.
Okay.
So what I mean by that's like you go out to the bar, right?
Yeah.
And you see somebody having the time of their lives. It makes you have fun because you're enjoying somebody else enjoying the moment. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's infectious. That's what I mean by secondhand fun. So you know how secondhand embarrassment's a thing? Like
Yeah,
somebody does
yeah.
something good, you're like, oh, I feel bad. Same thing is when somebody's having an amazing time.
Yeah.
It's like infectious, you know?
Yeah,
It makes
okay.
you have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's lazy fun.
Okay.
And lazy fun is an activity that creates fun for you without you providing any input or effort to the activity.
Okay.
Concerts, movies. Like I feel like, and that's what the U.S. culture really is about, lazy fun. It's where you don't have to do anything. You could just stare and you'll be entertained. And that's the gist of what Americans are. I think that's why our monuments and stuff are so big, because you need to be this big wow factor.
Like the Statue of Liberty.
The Statue of Liberty, the Grand Canyon,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you see all this stuff, and then it's just like it has to be a lot, you know. But that's because that's where we came from. Like that's how we are. And then finally, we have secondary fun, which is posterior fun. So this is fun like after the activity, and this is like posterior fun, post satisfaction of activity that was not enjoyable or was difficult in the moment. So like climbing a mountain, fighting, or running a marathon, where like maybe in the moment it sucked.
Yeah.
Like in the moment you're hurting, you're just like I don't want to do this, but like you finish it and like you could look after you're done with it like. I enjoyed that, even though you didn't have the best time. You enjoyed it because you achieved something or you did something and you're satisfied with yourself. So that's the posterior fun. So maybe not fun in the moment, but looking back on it, it's like more fun.
Maybe I think you guys defined the 5 golden types of fun for everyone. I think it applies to everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I understand, American culture and American things essentially fall into the third one, where it's basically lazy fun. You just stare at the things and you're having fun.
Exactly.
Yeah. But that makes me come to the next thought that I have is like a lot of people in America say comfort food, but is comfort food really like comfort food? Is like
Yes.
more like junk food,
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Comfort food at the end of the day is a food that it tastes good. It might not be the best food in the world,
Okay.
but it's going to taste good enough. And it's your comfort. And I think comfort food is defined by person.
Okay.
Everybody's going to have that one food item that you could cook up real quick, or that's easy to make, or I think that's what comfort food is, or something that you can make.
Yeah.
That you're gonna enjoy. Like this is like my comfort food. Like for me, when I think about comfort food is the type of food that like after going to school all day or working all day, I could come home to, and I'm like, at least I may had a stressful day, but this part right here, I know
You're
what
gonna enjoy it.
I'm getting, what I'm gonna get. I'm gonna enjoy it. I know I'm gonna like it, and that's my comfort food.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like, my comfort food, for example, is macaroni and cheese.
Okay.
Man, specifically, to be honest, buffalo chicken with a buffalo chicken mac and cheese, and you gotta make it a certain way, man. You like first your cheese sauce. You had to make it from a roux.
Okay.
From a roux, you gotta make a really proper cheese sauce. You put that in there, have the pasta, and you gotta be al dente because it's still gonna cook with that cheese sauce because it's so hot.
Yeah.
So you're gonna put that in, and then you're gonna put like a breadcrumb or like a panko cover on top.
Okay.
And then, oh no, actually scratch that. Before you put the panko, you're gonna put the chicken. You can put grilled chicken or fried chicken.
Okay.
I prefer fried chicken because I mean you're already eating mac and cheese, so fuck the calories at this point. You're going for flavor. We're going to flavor town. So good fried chicken that's been seasoned well, better than any grilled chicken.
Okay.
So you put that on the. Then you put in some buffalo sauce. You put in some fucking ranch all over it. And then, afterwards, you top it off with some cheese. You put some panko.
Okay.
You stick that in the oven. Comes out, and you get the best of all worlds. First is you get the spiciness from that buffalo. You get the crunch from the breadcrumb on top. The panko crust.
Yeah.
You get the creaminess from like the cheese sauce, and then you get that little bit of tanginess with that ranch. Cause ranch, man. Well, say what you want to say. Americans and sauce, we have that shit on lockdown. We are like, if you go to America, everything has sauce.
Yeah.
So like we're big sauce people. So ranch is probably one of the best sauces you could get. It's like it's because it's just so reliable. You know what you're gonna get. Like. So you put that on top.
It never fails, basically.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just such a good food because it's warm. You get the crunchiness. You get all these different textures and flavors all at once. That it's just like, it's gonna be good. It's hard to mess up.
Yeah.
Listen, like, what's your comfort food? Like, what's a food that like you just know you're gonna enjoy every time? It might take a little extra effort. It doesn't have to be fast, but something that you're like.
So it's I think it's more like an Indian dish. It's known as chicken tikka masala.
Okay.
You also
I was here for that.
I
made it for the delicious. But guys, you gotta try this guy's chicken masala. It's fucking.
So I think that's seriously my comfort food because I don't think so. I've been experimenting a lot with other foods over here, especially, and I feel that's something that I keep it as a standard. So I go into the kitchen. It takes like a decent amount of 40-45 minutes. Or something like that, but turns out to be always really good, and I feel it's easy for me because I'm like quite habitual for that. But that's there, and there's if you go to any Indian restaurant, I think you should try Rajma Chawal. It takes a little more time, but yeah, that's even better, I would say.
Okay,
that's like really really good. Yeah.
See, like Indian food, man. Like, I'll tell you a little funny story about Indian food. I actually didn't try Indian food for the longest time. I didn't try Indian food until I was like 20.
Oh, okay.
You know the reason why? And this is gonna sound like completely like like ignorant, but it's just like there's just this, especially in the U.S. I feel like there's such a stigma against it because I was afraid of going to the bad Indian restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel like when you go to like your impression with the food, your first impression with the food, I think is one of the most important things you could have when you want to introduce someone to some food.
Yeah.
Because if they have a rough experience initially, they're gonna associate that food with a bad thought, and it's not gonna taste good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, when you see people going to Indian places and, like, just having a rough time, like, this too spicy or all this, like, it makes me nervous because I'm like, because you talk to other people and it's, like, amazing. You talk to other people and it's just, like, eh. And you're like, and I was kind of nervous at first. And then after a while, I was like, I want to go to an Indian place. But the thing is, I want to make the right choice. I want to go to the right Indian place because I don't want to go to a bad place and be like, Indian food sucks.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason why it's popular.
Yeah.
And I finally went and tried it, and I went with the super safe choice, butter chicken.
Okay.
You know, like, because I was like, everybody tells you about tikka masala, but this is my American thought.
Yeah.
It sounds a little too risky, you know, like too many syllables in there.
The shorter the more accurate.
You know, and I'm like, butter chicken.
Yeah.
I know what those two words are.
Yeah.
I know it looks orange, so I think that's butter sauce. We'll figure it out. But all I know is this is a really safe bet.
Yeah.
And I tried butter chicken, and I fell in love instantly, you know, with the white rice and the butter chicken. It's all fresh out, you know. And then like your the naan bread, man.
Yeah.
Like some like cheesy garlic. I don't know if that's Americanized or that's like.
No, that's an Indian thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cheesy garlic naan bread for me. Like, oh, I was eating that with my buttered chicken. That's what I came. I was like, this is it. This is okay. Now I get it. I get why people like this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I finally I started experimenting. So I got like pag-saneer. It's like a green spinach dish.
Okay.
Pag-saneer, something like that. It's spinach.
Okay.
It's like spinach. It's like spinach with this paneer and like.
Okay. I understood what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is that dish called?
I mean, I think you're talking about palak paneer.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
palak
so.
paneer.
Yeah, with it's spinach.
Spinach is basically palak in
Yeah.
Hindi. Yeah. So
Okay.
I think it's going to be palak paneer. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's pretty good. Like, and then I started going out and like reaching out, trying like the bahiri, the rice. What is your rice dish?
Palau.
No, where it's like it's like cooked inside like a pot.
Biryani.
Biryani,
biryani.
yeah.
Okay.
I started getting into that, and then and just trying like the different appetizers. And there's this one appetizer I really liked. It was like this fried like chicken, but it was like super red,
Okay.
and it has like a sauce over it with chilies.
I'm not sure.
It was like a really red chicken though.
Oh, I think I know. I think you're talking.
It's like
about-
fried, I think.
It's known as chicken 65.
Yes.
Is it?
I think so because it has like sauce over a little bit of sauce over it, and then they like put like peppers.
Yeah.
Spicy, but god damn, I like it. And so then that's when I like really started being like,
Where did you have it though? Was it in Denver?
yeah, I was in Denver. Okay, so like, I mean, obviously I'm not gonna say like Denver Indian food's the best Indian because I haven't had like, but I could say that the Indian food in Denver definitely beats some of the places here in Dortmund.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually one in Homebrook I really like.
Okay.
It's like right next to the kebab place.
Mm-hmm.
I like that Indian place a lot. It's fast service. It's pretty appropriately priced. Like, it's like $12 a dish or
Okay.
12 euros a dish.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But like back home, I think like there's just a little bit better places, and I think it's just like talking about food and restaurants. You know, it's another big culture shock was the service. The service here is not completely, but different from the U.S. for sure. Because in the U.S. you have to tip.
Yeah.
But when you tip, you expect a certain level of service. They're a lot more attentive. They're a lot more kind of like there for your needs.
Proactive.
Yeah. Versus here, it's more like, especially when you're a college student, I just feel like they know they're not going to get any extra tip, that they kind of like put you on the back burner, you know? It's like, oh, I'll get to you at one point. But like, you know how many times I've had to be like, excuse me, get their attention, because I'm just like, I'm just not used to doing that. Like, that was a big part of it.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. I think whenever you go to like a restaurant in the US, especially, that's one thing that I feel is like, if you pre-tip them, I think you start, you can. I mean, I have known some of the people who gave me this idea that you can pre-tip the person who is going to serve you, and you can just offer like $10-15 before the start, and that's like okay as well in some places. In
Kind of.
some places, yeah.
Well, because the reason why is because you usually tip off a percentage.
Yeah, 10%. Yeah, of course. I mean,
It's 20 usually.
is it 20? No.
Yeah. And then, like to all Americans out there, it's like between 15 to 20% you tip. Seriously.
Okay.
And it's like, that's why I love Europe, bro. You don't tip. Like, the other things, your taxes are included in the prices. In the U.S., if I go be like, I want this and this, like if I see $4.99, I know I'm not paying $4.99. I'm gonna pay $5.12, $5.10. I know I'm gonna pay a certain percentage over that.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I don't like about it is that like all the prices aren't like there. And so like when you go to a restaurant, so when you think what a $15 dish is, it really ends up being 15, 1.5, 1.53.
Yeah.
It's an $18 dish with after a tip.
Yeah, true. That's true.
So like here it's just like when I see the price, I'm like, if I know that I'm only getting 15 euros in food, all I'm paying at the end of the dinner is 15 euros.
Yeah.
I'm not paying taxes. I'm not paying tip. I'm just paying 15 euros.
Yeah, another thing is like a lot of places over here, especially Germany, they only take cash. That's something which is I feel quite annoying.
It is.
Yeah, because you go to even if you go to a barber shop or something, they like sorry we don't take card at all. You have to bring cash, and you're like, oh man, come on, you can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a problem.
No, it is so annoying. And I was told beforehand when I was coming over here that like the cash thing is big. Like yesterday, honestly, I hated yesterday. Not hated, but it was so annoying because I went to like 4 or 5 ATMs in downtown Dortmund, and all of them were out of cash because of the Christmas market.
Yeah.
And it's just so annoying because I want to buy stuff in the Christmas market, but I couldn't because none of them take card.
Yeah.
And like. Yeah, luckily though, I found Lorenzo. Yeah, I found him, and I sent him an Evon transfer 10 euros, so you give me 10 euros in cash. But still though, like if I didn't find him,
yeah, then it's like you have to come back empty-handed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's bad. But I know for a fact that a lot of people another comfort food, not in terms of food, but a comfort thing I would say is essentially television and movies. People
yeah,
so it's a huge thing over there, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, honestly, like, I could tell you here, like, what's a big thing in the U.S.? Binging.
Binge watching.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's like not out of the usual for me to like watch a TV show and easily watch 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 episodes at once.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's like I said, it's just like I think the Americans are just so addicted, to like just like watching stuff that's just like it's lazy fun. It's just like I don't have to do anything except to look and laugh,
Yeah.
And so it is like it's a big date, like a drive-in movie date. Like I don't know, it's almost like a vintage thing. Like, but going out to the movies and taking a girl like out to a movie, it's like a classic American date. I feel like too. Like, hey, do you want to go see a movie? Yeah, and then you go in the movies and you like make out and stuff. But like literally, like that's so American. I feel like.
Also the movie places where you can I don't know what are they called exactly, where you can take your car and watch the movie.
Yeah, drive-in movie theaters.
Yeah, drive-in movie theaters. Yeah. That's also American thing, right?
Super American. Like honestly I've taken like people like to go see and like on dates and stuff, and it's a good time because it's like you have the movie and then you have to like tune your radio. There's a certain frequency that they like give out the audio, so you tune into the like the frequency, so like 97.3 FM. And then you hear the movie through your car, and then you see it.
Okay.
The only downside is that you gotta make sure you have a clean windshield because it's gonna be a rough one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's a good time. Like it's cool because I know that's something so uniquely American. Like,
does it still happen? Like currently?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
They're not like they're few and far in between. Like in Colorado, there's like 2 or 3, and you gotta drive like 20 minutes to get to them.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like classic movie theater. It's like a lot. Like all full of rocks. Yeah. And you see cars parked one by one, and there's like this huge screen, and they just put it on there. Like, oh yeah.
Do they play like so right now? Do they play like the old classic movies, or do they play the new ones?
They have everything. They have nights. So they'll like the ones I went, it's really cheap too. By the way,
okay.
Like that's one of the really cool parts. It was like $3 or $4 per person to go see the movie.
Okay.
And it's like. You see not one, but you see 2. So every single time you go, they'll play 2 movies at most places. Because they want to keep you there, and like the way that they really make money is through the snack stand.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And it's like cheaper than movie theaters, so like you end up buying more than you think, bro. Like I swear, every time I've gone, it's been like, all right, I'm not gonna spend any money. I spent $4 for the tickets. I'm just gonna go in there and just like chill. I brought my own snacks. Nah, before you know it, I'm like $20 deep in the store, like coming back with candy and icy, and I'm like,
damn, that's insane. But so tell us a little bit about your sports. I mean, you play football.
I played football, yeah. So I played football and rugby. Football throughout high school.
Yeah.
Creek. I played for Creek.
Okay.
It's fun, man. Like to be honest, like football is a very fun sport because it's like a big team sport, and it gets gnarly, obviously, like the big hits. Like, I've always been to physical sports. I've always been into, like, because it's kind of like an outlet, you know? Like I'm mad at the end of the day. I know for a fact that after school, I get to go and just hit somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm allowed to do it, you know? So, like, football was really fun. And the culture behind the football games in America, I think, is something so unique. So, like, you don't see anywhere else in the world. Like, so in high school, we call them Friday Night Lights because all high school games always happen on Friday nights. And Friday Night Lights because we usually play in a stadium and they have like the lights casting down, so it's just like you see the light reflection off the people's helmets. It's really cool because you have your entire, like, all your friends and like the entire student body, especially our school, because we're really good that a lot of people actually went to the games, that you'd have like 1,000 kids in the stands, and on top you had parents, like completely packed stands. You had like the cheerleaders and you had pom-poms. So the cheerleaders were the girls who did all the flips, but the pom-poms are the girls, are the halftime show girls. The girls who go in the middle of the field and start dancing and do this whole thing, you know? Not the cheerleaders. And then, like, yeah, man, like we would have like an entrance, like people would, like, they'd create a banner. It's like CCOD Go Creek. CCOD. This is so cheesy. I'm not thinking about this. Like, it's like Cherry Creek or die, you know? Like like you'd live by Cherry Creek or you'd die. And like, yeah, like you would run through the tunnel and then you go out there and then like the game. It's really fun, and like I think that that's what really, like, the social aspect of it was a big part. I made a lot of my friends through the football. Like my Graham, for example. If I didn't play football, I probably would never become friends with him. Yeah, so like the beauty of that is like you get to meet so many different people, and it's like a sport that unites like people from all different backgrounds. Like you see kids who like are kind of nerdy. You see kids who are super jockey. You see kids who are like really reserved. But we all have a common bond playing football. And so, like, that's what I really like about it was, like, it was really, it was an interesting because then, like, you got really close to people like that. And you were able to, like, kind of like network, you know? Like, be able to expand out and, like, be able to get to know all types of backgrounds. I played that until my senior year. And then I got hurt. And then, so then I decided I got to do something else. So I picked up rugby. And I've been playing rugby beforehand. So I played rugby up to high school. And then once I was in high school, it was like either I play rugby or lacrosse. I really want to play lacrosse. So I ended up playing lacrosse. I dropped rugby. And I didn't play for a couple of years because I was playing either lacrosse and football. And then finally my senior year, I was like, I'm sick of this. I'm going to play rugby. And so I went and played. And it ended up being probably one of the best decisions I made. It really reminded me why I love the sport. Don't get me wrong, football's great, but the thing about football is that it still is cliquey. Like, especially our school was offense and defense didn't interact. Because our football program was very sophisticated, and what I mean by that, it was like we were constantly sending people to colleges for football, for full rides, you know, scholarships, so D1 players. So it was very structured. So offense is always with offense. And then even within offense and defense, your position groups, that's who you sat with. That's who you ended up kind of being with. So, and that's how it really...
So you can't really open up, you know, and explore everyone, essentially.
Yeah, like, you only really talk to people after practices or during practices, but, like, once you, like, went to your individuals, like, it was offense and defense. Like, offense and defense didn't interact too much, but you would interact with the defensive players a lot more. You know what I mean? So that was a big part of it, and...
I mean, I think this kind of, like, breaks the idea of, like, the diversity that you mentioned, you know? Like, you mentioned that, you know, it's fun that, you know, when you interact with so many people who are from different backgrounds. But this essentially breaks that rule, essentially, right?
Yeah, because the thing is that probably within your group, there's different types of people. But unless you're playing on defense or offense, that's who you end up interacting the most with. So I really interact with defensive players. I had my friends on offense, so that's because we were friends beforehand. Yeah, and then rugby came around, and I honestly like the culture behind it a lot more because it's a lot more inclusive, you know? We're not like... We're a team, but we're not like subdivided. We're just all one team. And yeah, I started playing, and then I ended up playing at University of Wyoming. And at Wyoming, like, it was a really fun time, but it was a big time commitment. There's a lot to it, man. Like, it was just workouts multiple times a week, and then we had practice the days we didn't. Like, we were probably doing rugby like 6 out of 7 days of the week.
Okay.
And then at school.
That's a lot of effort, right? I mean,
And I imagine,
you get consumed out of it.
yeah,
Or something.
it is a lot of effort. It's like, and it's just a big time commitment where it ends up being like that's all you do. You don't really go out that much because if you can't go out the day before a match.
Yeah.
Because I gotta be responsible. And then like that started happening, and I liked it. Don't get me wrong. I love rugby. I like the big hits. I like that I was able to run people over, and like I've seen some of the biggest hits in rugby. Like we used to have this kid named Juicebox.
Okay.
Juicebox is a big boy. Like I don't know how to say this in meters, but we'll talk like American terms. Like 6'3", like 250 pounds. And I remember the first time he ran the ball, man. He grabbed the ball, and he was just like boom, boom, and he sees this kid. Bro grabs him by the fucking shirt, lifts him up, ball slams us to the ground, keeps on running, gets like kind of like 2 or 3 people try to tackle him, shakes him off, and scores. And I'm like, you literally grabbed a grown man, not just like a grown man. Picked him up and slammed him on the ground and kept on running like it was nothing. Like, yeah, even me myself, like I got pretty messed up in like rugby. Like I ended up busting my eyebrow my first college game ever. It was my first college game. We were playing a tournament in Jackalope, and like I can't remember who the fuck. I think it was Regis I was playing, and I remember was going in for the tackle,
Yeah.
and it was a defensive. It was a defensive stop. They're 1 yard away from scoring, and it was like we needed to, cock up and like get in. So I remember I went in for the tackle, and like the thing that happened is like as I went in, I ended up getting kind of spun around a little bit. And my teammate went in for the tackle, but this guy ducked.
Okay.
So as he ducked, I was in the back holding on. My teammate went head to head, hits me in the head. And I remember I let go. I let go of the guy, and I put my face in the grass. And I'm like, ow, that hurt a lot. But I'm like, give me 5 seconds to get myself together. Like, that's all I need, and I get up. And I remember I get up, and I'm like, oh, okay, that sucked, but I'm okay. And as I'm walking, I just like feel super warm stuff all over my face, and then I look down, and blood is just dripping, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not fine. Maybe I actually have to do something about this. So, yeah, I go back, and like as I'm standing there, I look at my buddy Marcel. So Marcel's my teammate who hit me in the head.
Yeah.
He's out cold. And like, I mean, bloody. Like, I mean, I thought I was bloody. This dude's like, yoink. And like, we're sitting in the med tent. So that's like where you take the injured players. And like, as we're sitting there, like, I'm like, to Marcel, like, how are you doing? You know how bad this kid got hit in the head? This dude goes, where am I? And I'm like, whoa, what do you mean? Where are you? I was playing Mario Kart in the dorm. Where am I right now? Like, and I'm like, Marcel, are you fucking kidding me? You are not okay, bro. Like, and he was like, wait, am I playing? Oh, why are we playing? And I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah, man. And like afterwards, like I ended up getting like 6 stitches. Like, yeah, my eye was all bruised to hell. I had a concussion.
But do you plan to go back and play the rugby again?
Maybe. Rugby's amazing, but I've gotten injured. Like, so this last season, or I guess, yeah, like a year ago, a little bit over a year ago, I tore my shoulder.
Okay.
Playing rugby. And I had to get surgery. And I was out for 6 months.
That's quite a lot of time.
I missed my skiing season. I couldn't play rugby.
Yeah.
And it was my last year of rugby. So like I was on poise to like really, I was really excited for this season because it was like these last 2 years I've really gotten better. I know what I want to do. Like this third year is gonna be like the good year, and it didn't end up happening. But I ended up playing in the spring. And playing in the spring, like I was able to become captain, and it was just big, But as much as I liked it, I remember after my last game, it was bittersweet
Now, we had some more conversation with Luis. You can check out the full episode on Spotify. The link is in the description below, and I hope you got some valuable insights about the US culture from Luis.